Hi fans, welcome to Boxing Profiles TV at the Georgia Duke here in Vacaville. My name is Ed Calmbaum. This here yet again for another week, Coach Tony Prince. Yo, before we officially start, as y'all see, I don't know if y'all can see right here, I got my wraps on. I've been sweating hard. I've been sweating real hard. I've been trying to get my fitness up here. Coach Prince, Coach Jason, Coach Mac, all these young stallions here. But yo, talking sheep, come to the Georgia Duke. If you are anywhere in Solano County or especially in Vacaville, for fitness, for self-defense, for just wisdom, life wisdom, camaraderie, brotherhood, sisterhood too, because we got some females here too, come on down. Like honestly, it's a loving family environment, but you will learn how to defend yourself. Talking sheep, like I said, I'm 40 now, 40 plus. But yo, who knows? I might start sparring because of these guys. They've inspired me to get my fitness up, to get my conditioning up, and yo, we'll see where that heads, you know. But yo, Coach Prince, how's things been?
Everything's been good. We had a week off,
right?
Because they was doing some work here in the gym, so we had a week off. We just, we're back. I think this is actually our actual first full week from being back. So we kind of missed out on a few podcasts and things like that we were going to do. Now everybody's back in the gym. Everybody's back training. Well, I know that they've been training when they wasn't in the gym.
Same thing here. I know that's what I'm saying. You know, going back to training here at the Duke, like I said, because of you guys inspiring me, even with that week off, I have a bag at home. I was shadow boxing. I was doing the jump rope, you know, and so it's about consistency, right? And like you said, they're doing a lot of stuff here at the Duke. We have a lot of exciting news that we can touch base on tonight. But specifically, like you said, we took the week off. We have a lot of ideas so it's a good thing kind of that we took the week off because we have a lot of ideas marinating and getting juicy. We have some awesome content for you guys, like for real. Like as the kids say nowadays, no cap. We have some real content, some content that people aren't doing. People are just not doing it. Exciting, engaging content. But yeah, with that said, you know, talking with the interview, what the boxing world is talking about. I mean, there's always news in the boxing world. But
the big fight coming up that everybody's talking about is, I have a hard time saying the name is Bivol and
Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, okay? If that's even how to say the name.
Yeah.
But that fight is coming up.
So Beterbiev, man, that guy, all of his knockouts.
Well, you know,
all his wins are by knockouts.
You know,
but Bivol, like, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Chris.
Well, when it comes down to it, the way it is this. You can't knock out what you can't hit, okay? You know, we will have to see if Beterbiev, if he could actually knock Bivol out. I think it's going to be a lot of movement on Bivol's part.
Same thing.
When it goes to the experience of fighting a hard puncher, again, I got to go with Bivol because Bivol, he fought Canelo, the best in the business. And I'm going to be honest with you, okay? What's it?
Beterbiev, yeah.
Beterbiev, when I saw weighing it, is he better than Canelo? Is he better than Canelo? Does he have more skills than a Canelo Alvarez? So this is how I'm judging it in that light. Other people are probably not judging it. Most people go off of, oh, this guy's he's got knockout power, he's got this.
Like you said, you can't knock out what you can't hit,
if
right?
you can't hit somebody, you're not going to be able to knock him out. And that's just straight fact.
Like you said, that's the thing. Bivol is not just going to stand in front of him. He's going to move.
Well, it's like I said, boxing is a scientific sport. It's not a sport where you want to stand in front of each other and you want to beat each other's brains out. Although that's what the fans want to see.
Right, of course.
They want to see that, but that's not the game of boxing. Boxing,
you don't want to get hit.
Yeah, boxing is hit and don't get hit. That's the true sport and the true science of boxing. That's what Bivol does, okay? Right. Now, I ain't saying he doesn't get hit. I'm just saying that that's the true sport of boxing. And as long as fighters remember that, you hit and not get hit, you'll survive a long time in this game. Case in point, I got to go back to Floyd Money Mayweather. Look how long he's been in the game.
Right.
Okay, I mean, you know, and other fighters that's been out there. Let's look at. I just drew a blank on his name. The executioner. What the heck is his
Bernard
name?
Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins. Okay, I don't know why I'm throwing
B-Hop.
a blank. I watched B-Hop when he was fighting in the out of Philadelphia at the Blue Horizon. I watched him come up as as a fighter. So again, fighters like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, can y'all take that over that way? Y'all go over that way for me.
They hitting it hard. They hitting it hard here. Like
they hitting it hard over that way. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Y'all take it over that way for me. Y'all keep hitting, but go over that way. Yeah.
And so, that's the thing, I personally, like I said, I'm not a fight expert like that or anything, but I think personally, if Beterbiev can survive, I think he'll still get outworked in the later rounds, probably by Bivol, because Bivol doesn't seem like he gasses out.
You know what? Well, see, here's the thing. We see it a lot in boxing. We see a lot of fighters. They got great power. And they can knock people out and this and that, but they always lack something. Okay, they lack something because they rely on one thing
the money
to win that fight, and that is.
And sometimes they go to the bank too often.
Yeah,
right?
they go to the bank too often. Now we got a fighter like Bivol, who is very, very versatile. Okay.
Exactly.
Now Bivol, he's got knockouts. Bivol has shown that he can go the distance.
He's technical.
He's technically sound. Now I'm not saying that he can't be beat.
Right.
I'm saying.
But when it comes to technique,
when it comes to the technique and the movement, Bivol's got it down, and that is going to be a factor.
I agree.
In that particular fight, especially when you have a fighter that can move in and out, and he's constantly moving. And then you have a fighter that's basically flat-footed, unless Benavidez has that ability inside of him that he can actually do the same thing, and he's been actually working on that. Then we could have a great fight. But I highly, highly doubt that, and the reason why is because he has relied on basically his power and his combinations like that in order to beat his opponents.
Right.
That's what he did. Now, we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be a great fight. Okay.
I agree. I think I'm excited, and it's free on ESPN from what I heard. It's free. It's you don't even have to pay paper.
And that's crazy that it's it's on ESPN. And the reason why I say that is because if you got ESPN, you get a chance to watch it.
Exactly.
Is
anyone on there right now? Not right now. Hey, shout out. I don't know if you can see, but shout out to Theo, DJ Theo. He's part of the team as well. He should. We're gonna be getting together with him as well to share some ideas because we have some great content, like I said. But yeah, so no, great insight on that. One thing that we definitely want to touch base is, like I said, so many young stallions there. You still hear those pads being hit back there, even though Coach Prince had them step back a little bit. He's still hitting the hard. One of the young stallions there, a little bit camera sharp. His name is Diego. I don't even think he's 20 yet, right?
No, he's only 15 years old.
He's a teen. He's a teen.
Let me tell you something about him. This kid is amazing, and when I say amazing, I mean truly, truly amazing. He's got power that is unbelievable for his age. Okay, he's
15-year-old.
Look, he was in the ring the other day, and he was in there boxing with an adult, and he literally fractured the guy's eye. Okay, and they had headgear. Remember, I said a while back ago that the sport is
It's brutal. It's not a sport, technically.
It is a sport, but
right.
But what happens is, everybody's got a misconception, and everybody wants to glamorize the business, and they forget about the savagery,
about the real risk.
The real risk of what's happening. I want to keep it real, and I want to bring it back to the old school. And the old school says this straight up: you do whatever you got to do to win. You understand?
Right.
And that don't mean PEDs.
Right.
So you guys know that. That don't mean PEDs.
Y'all don't be cheating. Stop cheating out there.
You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is, if you really know what you're doing in boxing, you could disable people, okay? And that's what I'm talking about. This kid right here he's very serious about what he's doing. He's in the gym every day. He's in here from the time we open, and he stays in here till the time we leave.
And we talked about that last week too. There's a difference there's levels to this, as they say, because if you're living and breathing it, you know, this like Coach Prince said, this kid's here every day from start to finish. He's gonna be a problem. Talking cheap, he's gonna be a problem. There's a lot of folks on the team. So how many altogether are on the actual Georgia Duke fighting team?
The boxing team. Let me see. So we got okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 guys on the actual boxing team. 7 guys on the boxing
young
team.
lions on the boxing team. Have all of them? Are they waiting for fights, or have some of them fought already, or?
Basically, no. All my guys are gonna. They all of them are coming out with basically. They all we call what they call green. Okay, they're all green. But before myself and Jason, we put any fighter that's in there. We want them to be training at least a year before they actually jump inside that ring, and we put them out.
That makes sense.
Okay, and the reason why we do that is because number one, we want to make sure that they got offense, defense. Okay, they got movement. They can box. They can slug.
Everything,
they can
like you said.
counterpunch.
Because
they
here, like you
trade
said,
punches.
Boxing Profiles TV, I can't plug it enough. Georgia Duke, we're not just teaching one thing, not just teaching 2 things. We are teaching it all. Like you said, it's not just you got it. It's fluidity. It's full body motion. It's being adept at defense, offense, everything.
Yeah, you got to be, like you said, you got to be in depth with everything, offense, defense, okay? And the key to everything when it comes to boxing is this. You could be a great power puncher, right?
Right.
You could be a great boxer, but if it's not instinctive, it has to be instinctive, period. Okay? It's got to be instinctive. It's not just jumping in that ring because, you know, you got talent and this and that. It's got to be instinctive. You know, some people will sit back and say, well, isn't that what fighters are trained for? But how many of them do it instinctively? Seriously. I mean, seriously, you could tell the guys that's doing it instinctively. And you could tell the guys that are they're not quite
getting it right.
They're not quite.
They don't have that. Yeah, like you said, that innate sense.
Exactly.
That, as they say, that third eye.
Exactly.
That other sense.
That's it.
Because it's that sixth sense.
That's it. And that's what people are missing from the game today. What Muhammad Ali did was instinctive. What Sugar Ray Leonard did was instinctive. What Pernell Whitaker did was instinctive. Okay, what Roy Jones did was instinctive. You understand? It wasn't just anything else. What James Toney did was all instinct. It was nothing but instinct. He was that good. All those fighters that I named was that good. It was instinctive.
Antonio Tarver.
All of this is instinct. And see, when we start talking about instinct, we start talking about natural ability. That's where the teachers come in again. What are you teaching? How are you teaching?
It matters. We can't stress out enough. We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Jeepers Creepers, what's up, my brother?
Who is that? Who's who? Me?
Yeah.
I'm DJ Ed. I'm hosting with Coach Prince. I'm blessed enough that he invited me here. What's up, Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah.
DJ Ed here. But yeah, like you said, instincts. And that's the thing. I really love the fact, like you said, going back on building the fighters. Building the fighters and taking at least a year to hone skills and to work on those instincts, to work on everything together. And that's the thing. Like we said weeks ago, it matters who's teaching you. It matters.
Right. Well, I'm a since we don't hear coaches talk about instinct. We don't hear them talk about. They talk about all this other stuff, but they do not talk about instinct. Okay, you got to be instinctive when you're doing this game. Okay, as well as you have to be your eyesight. Okay,
eyes are everything, right?
These right here, are everything.
Hello,
lots
sir.
Lots of people don't talk about it. Again, coaches don't talk about the eyesight. They don't talk about instinctive. They don't talk about basically how to build natural reactions. Okay, you know what I mean? For every action, there is a reaction. So here's what happens. How many guys actually have a reaction from an action? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So when we start analyzing this game of boxing, let's look at what they're doing. Let's pay attention to what they're doing. Are they reacting? And that kind of stuff like that. You know, are they doing that?
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm not judging nobody. I'm just saying I know this game. Okay.
Right.
I know what to look for.
Right.
And I don't care who you are. You could be a world champion. You could be whatever. But if you ain't moving on instinct, okay, instinct and great fundamentals, I'm gonna notice it. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It don't matter.
You be a champion.
Yeah, it don't matter who you are.
It don't matter.
You know, I mean, one fight that I really like, and this is a great lesson. Okay, we go back to, and I mentioned this, a guy that relies on nothing but power, Pitbull.
Ah, yes.
Here's a guy.
Right?
Everybody said, "Man, this guy, he built a nice following and he did everything." And then all of a sudden, right when he faced the boxer, he couldn't do nothing with the boxer.
You say he got picked apart, unfortunately.
Basically,
right?
well, he got picked apart because he never actually tried the box. Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So all his people did was they stayed right on one thing, and that was, I'll just beat him with power, right? But when it boils down to it, you got to be versatile in this game. You cannot just be one trick pony. Okay?
Right.
You cannot be one trick pony. You got to be versatile in the game. Okay?
And that goes, that's funny because like you said, aside from the game of boxing, it goes for MMA as well. It goes for kickboxing. It goes for these bare knuckle fights you guys be seeing, you know, like if people work, like you said, on fundamentals and working extensively, you know, plus the conditioning and plus the dedication, like you said. So Diego's here every day. There's a lot of young bucks that are here 3, 4, 5 times a week, just putting in work, you know.
You know, and the other thing too is the fighters got to be hungry. You know what I'm saying? They got to be hungry. You know,
there's no half-stepping in this.
There's no half-stepping. The fighters
half-stepping, like you said, can get you killed, and that's for reals.
Yes, for real.
Can get you maimed, like you're saying. Yeah. That adult, even with headgear, you got that fracture.
That fracture right here on his eye, and that was in the gym. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this is just straight savagery. It's not one of those things that you can come in here and thinking that you can't get injured. You can get injured, and if people say, "Man, I know this, I know that."
Do you really though?
Do you really? Do you really? Just again, like I said, you don't take nothing for granted especially when it comes to this game. You know, and I won't let any of these fighters in this gym take anything for granted. I tell them, and I'm straight up with them. Look, man, what are you doing? Why are your hands down? You want to get your head knocked out? You want to get your brains knocked out? You want to get your nose broke? I mean, seriously. I mean, because what happens in this game is you gotta wake up. You gotta be serious in this game. You can go come on now. You know, even from this right here in the gym, right here, right now.
Case in point, because of that, even that fracture. Could have been at the temple, could have been like, you know, the neck snap back, whatever.
Thank God, it was just, you know, it was just that, and it didn't go any further than that. And it's like, whoa, stop. Okay, dude, you okay? And now my eyes bobbing. Okay, that's it. You know what I mean? So, and my whole point of it is again, I'll say it again. This is savagery. Okay, this is straight savagery, and I don't want anybody to take this game.
You know,
I mean,
it's a game, but it's one of those games where you play for keeps. And like I said, it's just you. But Coach Prince, on the humble, he has quite a background. He does. And so, actually, I was going to ask Coach to switch it up just a little bit, because I know those people out there, the people out here, you know, we're 20 minutes in, right? 20 minutes in, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
So I found out a couple weeks ago that yes, Coach Prince here, a decorated kickboxer back in the day.
Yeah.
So was that back in Jersey? Or
no, I fought some. I did some fights here in California. I had some fights in California. You know, my career as a kickboxer was up and down. And the reason why it was up and down is because, okay, so When I first started kickboxing, right, I myself, okay, actually, let me break it down. It's a lot easier.
Okay.
When I first actually started boxing, right, I went into the gym and I started boxing, and one of my trainers that I had was the name of Keith York from Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
So he was my trainer, and now there's several Keith Yorks out there. Okay, this Keith York.
Keith York from Paterson, New Jersey.
Yeah,
specifically.
from Paterson, New Jersey. Now I think there's like 4 or 5 guys out there that's probably on BoxRec that are named Keith York. Okay, but this particular guy's named Keith York. He had 54 wins, and I think he had 6 losses.
Wow!
And so he was the
what a record!
yeah, and he was my coach. He was good. And can you guys come over that way? Go over that way, please. Thank you. And he had put me up against the 2 fighters that I was against. One was named BC. Okay, BC had 101 fights, and he had 2 losses.
100 plus fights and 2 losses, and you had to go up against.
He was one of the guys that he was my sparring partner. The other guy was named Anthony Green. Anthony Green, I believe he was either 54 fights, and he had 54 fights, and then he had, I think it was like 1, maybe 2 losses also. And both these guys were fighting on a national level. I
mean, these are, like you said, certified killers, you know?
And I said, he told me about them, and I said, you want me to spar with those dudes? Are you crazy? And this was my first time getting in the ring with him. You know, I got beat, man. I kept getting beat up. And it wasn't until my oldest brother, Lamar, he was in the same gym, and they knew that he was my brother. And you know, me just coming into the game, right? My brother Lamar had been doing it a long time.
Okay.
So Lamar was doing it, and Lamar was
yeah.
He was off
you
the
mentioned
chain.
that
He
a
was
couple
off the
weeks
chain.
ago,
He was
right?
off the chain. Yeah. Okay. And so, you know, I was going to quit, and my brother said, well, "What you going to quit for?" And I said, "Man, I can't beat them dudes that I'm sparring with." He says, "I'll tell you what." He says, "Come on." He says, "I'll show you some stuff. When we at home, I'll show you some stuff." So he started showing me some stuff and started showing me things to do. And then as I kept practicing them, then, you know, when I started sparring with the guys, I started seeing what he showed me actually worked. And I was
you
like,
saw it in real time,
yeah.
And like you said, the reps and the practice and the teacher is because Lamar already is.
So my brother Lamar actually inspired me to actually box, right? So, and that was the day. Hey, what's up there, Sarah? How you doing?
Oh, both Sarahs.
Yeah, what's up? You know, you new in the class? Hey, Jay. What's up? Could you take care of that young man? He's new. We're good. So, real quick, so my brother Lamar inspired me to you know, to stay with it.
Right, to actually, like you said, keep on going.
To keep going. So, since he inspired me to keep going, and then he started showing me stuff, and I got getting better and better. And I told my coach, hey, my brother Lamar's helping me out. He said, well, that's good. He said, because I noticed there was a difference in it. And I said, yeah. So then from there, when it all started clicking, that's when it all started happening. So I said to myself, oh man, you know, okay, this is cool, right?
Right.
So it came that time where, you know, you get that dry spell. Like in anything else, you get that dry spell, you're like, oh man, I think I need a break, right? So I took a break. So when I took a break, I actually started paying attention to all these guys that were doing karate and all this other stuff. I started paying attention to them. I was like, man, you know, that looks really interesting. I wonder if I could do that too, right? Man. So as I did it, you know, there was a friend of mine. His name was Jeffrey Joneke, and he lived on Newman Street. When I grew up in the projects.
Right.
Grew up in a rough neighborhood.
Right. You mentioned that. In Jersey.
We had Railroad Avenue here, and we had Newman Street here, and we had all the whole apartment complexes right here, and then we had big parks in the middle. So Jeffrey was a 5-time Golden Glove champion, right? And he knew Jeet Kune Do, right?
That's people who don't know what Jeet Kune Do is. That is Bruce Lee's art that he created from the different fundamentals of boxing, Wing Chun. Right.
A little bit Aikido and all these other different martial arts that he did. So Jeffrey knew that, and then he was teaching it to some of the kids in the neighborhood to keep the kids off the street and stuff like
Amazing.
that. So I said, you know what? I said, I told my youngest brother, hey man, let's go check that class
Yeah,
out.
right.
So we went down there, we started checking out the class, and I liked what was going on. So I started doing that. Now remember, I got boxing skills.
Right.
So now I started doing martial arts and stuff like that.
And that's amazing because you, like you said, learning.
Yeah.
This is the different body mechanics.
The body mechanics.
Like you said, not just with boxing, but like you said, Jeet Kune Do, and then
all that.
melding it together.
You taking it and then you melting it together, and you want to make it flow as one. And then
yes.
one of the things, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, I said instinctively. Things have to happen instinctively.
It just has to, you got to even think about it. You just has to.
Everything has to flow. And that's when you are moving instinctively. Okay, when everything is flowing and it looks like you're just gliding, you know what I'm saying? That's instinctive. That's everything. It's just natural. It's just right there. You just, you're just moving.
Right,
It's like, wow, this guy is good. Javante Davis is perfect for it. Okay, all right. When he was fighting Leo Santa Cruz, right? Instinctively he moved. Leo Santa Cruz was throwing punches, whop, and all Javante did was just slip, sleep.
That step.
And that's what I'm talking about. The punches come out of nowhere. No matter how good, no matter how good your opponent is, no matter who he is, if it is instinctive, it will work. So just getting back to me real quick.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, all right, I like this.
You like this Jeet Kune Do thing,
Jeet Kune Do, right? And I realized that the Jeet Kune Do had a lot of boxing in it. Lot of boxing, more boxing than people would expect. Okay.
The only reason I know that is because I followed it a little bit.
In fact, his whole style was based upon the boxing, the fluidity, and everything of boxing.
Moving like water. That was, That's
it. And I think the saying when we talk about the water, he says, you want to be water, my friend. And he says, if you put water into a pot, it becomes the pot. Okay. Whatever you put water in, it becomes that, okay? And now water can flow or it can crash. And it's the same thing in boxing.
That is.
You could flow or you could crash, okay? And what I mean by crashing is you don't have the flow, okay? You're good at what you do, but you do not have that flow that you just are moving instinctively. And that's what I mean when I say moving instinctively, to break it down for the people, especially for people that don't understand what I'm saying. Because there are people out there that don't have a clue about what we're talking about. They'd be like, man, what? But if you pay attention to a lot of fighters that are out there, let's look at the Macho Camacho Senior.
Hector Macho Camacho. That guy, man. And that's the thing.
Macho Camacho.
We talk about a guy who can talk, but then he backed up that talking. Take care.
All right. So Macho Camacho had a martial arts background. Eli.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, he had a martial arts background. He did all the karate and all that other stuff. That's why he was so fluent in the ring.
Yeah, he was fluid.
Yeah, he was very fluid.
Yeah, his movement,
everything. You know what I mean?
Now, did you know if Pernell Whitaker had any martial arts?
No, I don't know if he had any martial arts background.
Because the way he moves sometimes, like I said, I was watching fight highlights. If you guys, aside from following Boxing Profiles TV on YouTube, look up Pernell Whitaker's highlights. That's what I did. I knew who Pernell Whitaker was even prior to Coach Prince, but I didn't fully understand the wizardry of movement and of defense, the importance. You see that guy move, and he would switch stances. He would do the Philly shell, and he would, he would do a little bit of the peekaboo style. He would just flowing. He would, because of that guy's defense, he would leave his chin out, but then, he gets someone to feint on him. And
again, there's you heard Floyd say this, that there are levels to this, right? You heard Floyd say that, and way before Floyd Mayweather. Way before Floyd, okay? Everybody, this generation knows Floyd because that's all they see.
Right.
But if this generation would go back and look at the old fighters, such as, pay attention to Larry Holmes,
Marvin Hagler,
Sugar Ray Leonard, okay?
Tommy Hitman Hearns.
Let me tell you a guy right here, the fifth king that nobody talks about, because everybody thinks there's only 4 kings in boxing when you talk about the old school fighters, right? There's a fifth king that people don't talk about, Wilfredo Benitez. You guys need to go back and look at him. He was the youngest champion in the history of boxing, younger than Mike Tyson. Okay, the youngest at 17 years old. He was a world champion at 17 years old. Okay, and when you go back and you look at him, watch his movements. He had unbelievable, and he fought 3 of the, what you guys say of the 4 kings. Okay, but he was the 5th king that you guys don't talk about. Okay, we can't.
Because people don't know yet.
Yeah, he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran. Hands of Stone. He fought all 3 of them, but people do not want to acknowledge him. But you got to acknowledge greatness. I don't care who you are. You got to acknowledge greatness. Period. That's it.
Benitez. Look that up.
Wilfredo Benitez. Okay. You go back.
I'm gonna do that.
Look at his movements. I've never seen a fighter today move like him. To this day. Okay. Now, there's other fighters out there that were great. Okay, there's another gentleman out there way before. All right, guys. Thank you, Daniel.
Good to see you, Daniel.
Way before we had Lomachenko, right? Way before Lomachenko. There's Orlando Cancelas. Okay. Look him up. Watch his footwork.
Cancelas.
Okay. Watch his footwork. Watch the things that he did. Okay, way before there was that Lomachenko. Everybody called Lomachenko the Matrix, this and that. Go look at Cancelas and see who the true Matrix really is. You understand what I'm saying?
Like you said, like there was a blueprint.
Exactly, there's a blueprint.
We talked about the importance of watching tape.
Exactly, watching this.
There's tape. I just saw a picture. It was Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, and who else was there?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
It's maybe Sugar Ray
Robinson.
But think about that. Almost 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. And these guys were sending the blueprint. And now with the influx of all this social media stuff, personally, like I said, Boxing Profiles, like I said, is one I watch, but you can see on YouTube, there's so many highlights and so much analysis. And you can tell, like usually you can tell the quality and if people know what they're talking about, know?
Well, you can. I mean, because everything has to make sense.
Right.
If it's not making sense, I mean, you know what I'm saying? If it's not making sense, it's not gonna make dollars. They say dollars make sense, right?
Right.
So it's the same thing. So if you're making sense, it's gonna make dollars eventually.
One thing, and it's funny, not switching gears really, but kind of going back on the footage and seeing fighters nowadays and putting stuff on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. One thing that does irk me a little bit is that there are certain videos, to each their own, what I'm saying? I'm not trying to clown, but at the same time, it irks me a little bit because these folks will get tens of thousands of likes and views.
Yeah.
But I see the technique, not to say I know, a lot about it, but I see these guys' technique, and they are not tight. Their hooks are swinging. They are not keeping their hands up, not even when they're doing the jab. Like, I do like seeing a lot of stuff that, I've seen folks that, it's helped me out even at home. I put the tennis ball here to make sure that I'm keeping, this hand up, amongst other things. But yeah, I see some of these with tens of thousands and I'm like, wow, well, these guys are teaching the wrong thing. It matters who teaches you.
I'm going to say this. I'm not going to touch that one. I'm not even going to touch that subject, and I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you why I'm not going to touch that subject. I'm not touching that subject because I'm just going to leave that alone, period, okay?
All right.
But all I can say is this. If one of my fighters see that, tell my fighter go to work. Okay? Just go to work. If he sees it, go to work. That's all I'm gonna tell my fighter.
Hit those
just go
openings,
to work.
right?
Go to work. Yep, go to work. And the reason why that's the reason why I don't want to touch on that because
we're not trying to give.
No, I ain't trying to. I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying. I'm not going.
We're giving some free game. but yeah,
I'm not gonna criticize.
Not criticize and not give out secrets.
Yeah, at the same time,
Right.
I'm not gonna criticize anybody, and that's why I said I'm gonna leave that alone. But if one of my fighters see that and you're making mistakes, okay,
We're gonna capitalize.
We're gonna
right?
capitalize on it, and that's the name of the game, okay? And again, that's all I'll say about that. You know, because there is a certain way that you need to be throwing your punches. That's all I can say. If they ain't learning that, okay, that ain't my fault. That's totally on them.
Right, like I said, to each their own. That's why I made sure to say, you know, no disrespect.
Yeah. But real quick, let me finish up my story I was telling you
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go back.
So, one of my first, when I started fighting professionally, one of my first fights, get this, okay? And, you know, and I kind of keep it quiet. I don't really talk about it a lot, right? I had no amateur background whatsoever. None. No amateur background. None whatsoever. I never
Thrown
fought,
in the fire.
I never fought an amateur in an amateur bout. And I didn't have to because of the guys that I had teach me. You know what I mean? They were
Right.
teaching me really, really. I had some really great teachers, and I jumped right into the pros. Now I'm going to tell
Into the fire.
Right, I'm gonna tell you like this, but jumping into the pros, and then you know it's. You know how you sometimes you're going somewhere, right? And all of a sudden you just get surprised by something.
Just hit you out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it just hit you out of nowhere. That's what I was for a lot of people. Because you know, you stop and you think about it, you're like,
This guy has an amateur background.
yeah, okay, we don't
have any footage on it. We don't know anything
Here's
about
the thing,
this.
okay, so it's like, okay, what rocks this guy crawling
Yeah,
up
right.
under?
No, exactly right.
Where'd he come from? What is going on? You know what I mean? So, you know, and then when they saw me fight, it was.
Proof is in the pudding.
It was, yeah, and people were doing it. And I'm gonna tell you something, you know, like I said, my kickboxing career was up and down, and I mean, all I can say is this: there was things that I didn't like. That I didn't like with my career. You know, I got cheated a lot in the career. People are. This is a very, very dirty business. Okay, the fight game is a very, very dirty business.
I've heard stories. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I got cheated a lot. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: people hold you down. They hold you down, okay? I'm not mentioning anybody's name. People hold you down. I mean, you know, I since then gotten over it. You know,
But
you know
still,
what I'm
that's
saying?
horrible when they don't want to. Well, it's one thing when they're not helping you. It's a whole other thing when they're actively trying to.
Exactly.
It's one thing. It's just don't help. You know.
Exactly. Well,
If
it's
anything.
not. It's not so much to help. I didn't need it.
Right. But it's the help. But don't put me down. Don't try to cheat you.
It was if I won the fight, then I won the fight. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You know. But we see it in boxing all the time too, right? Shockey Foster beat the crap out of Conceição, but they gave it to Conceição. You know what he felt like? I know because it happened to me.
Right.
I know what he felt like. What the hell does he have to do in order to win? You got to kill the guy? I mean, seriously. But this is the mindset of people that are out there. And you guys want to understand the corruption and when it comes to it? That's the mindset that people have. I don't care what do you do. Perfect example. Boachuk and Ortiz, right? Boachuk clearly won the fight. Ortiz got knocked down twice. But guess what?
You're right.
Ortiz won the fight. The judges said Ortiz won the fight. Right? And people said, man, I go back and watch the fight, this and that. Look. If you're watching it right there in front of you, you're not looking at a mirage. You actually seeing it in real time. Seeing it in real time.
In real time, it's right in front of you.
It's right in front of you. You can't believe your eyes.
Or you're not paying attention, or
Yeah.
it's a dirt.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Like you said, we don't say.
I don't know. Like I said, I
He's
don't
never
know.
going to speak on it.
All I said,
That's nothing going to speak on.
all I'm saying is, that the fight game is very, very dirty. Kickboxing is dirty. Anything in the pugilistic sports is dirty. Let's be real about this, okay? That's why we have corruption in the sports. And a lot of people, they, when they see a bad decision, people get upset.
Yep.
Because it's just, look, it's just
Vegas
not
get upset.
right, man. It's just
Vegas
not right.
gets really upset.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's not right, and I can
Right.
understand why a lot of fighters now are starting to get into the boxing game, and they're starting to become the announcers, and they're getting their own podcasts and doing this. And I understand why they're doing that, because they're trying to get rid of all that corruption and all that other stuff. That's
Trying to make it back to the sport, make it back to the fighters.
Exactly.
Not the corporate stuff, not the money hungry.
Yeah.
Obviously money talks,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if you don't have fighters,
Exactly. Okay, so, throughout my career, I had the opportunity to spar with Tony the Tiger Lopez when he was a 3-time world champion. That was great sparring I had.
right.
with
Shout
him.
out to Tony because he
Tiger
was just
Lopez.
here.
Yeah, he was here fighting.
He was here fight night at the Duke.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to get in the ring with him. And let me tell you something, man. Tony was a bad dude.
He was a bad dude. I saw that fight against Rocky Johnson, wasn't it?
It was Rocky Lockridge.
Rocky Lockridge. Rest in peace, Rocky Lockridge.
I think he fought him 3 times.
Did he?
They fought 3 times. Yeah, Rocky Lockridge. He fought 3 times. I watched those fight, all 3 of those fights, but he got over the hurdle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He got over that hurdle, because those were tough fights for Tony at that time, and that's when boxing was boxing. Okay.
Woo,
not
the
only
crowd.
that, not only that.
Yeah.
He also fought Julio Cesar
Chavez.
Chavez. He went 12 hard rounds with Chavez.
Yeah, I still remember watching
12
that.
hard rounds.
Crazy.
With Julio Cesar Chavez. Tony the Tiger Lopez, right here from Sacramento,
Yep.
California. Right here, okay? It just goes to show, if you really put your whole heart in this game, you can really make something out of yourself.
Exactly.
But you got to sacrifice stuff.
You gotta sacrifice. That's what it's about. Because like you said, Floyd said it, but other people have said it as well. There's levels to this.
There's levels to the game, you know what I mean? So now I'm back in the game, and I want to pass on everything that I know. And then I have 2 books that I put out. One is Boxing Defense, and the other one is The Art of the Jab.
Art of the Jab.
And those 2 books are ebooks, and you can get them both on Amazon. And for me, it's like I want to put the real stuff out there. I don't want to just give you just tell
filler.
you.
Yeah.
I don't want to just give you a filler. I want to give you the
Substance, right?
The substance. I want you to understand why you need to have a jab in this game. I want you to understand that. It's one thing showing a person how to do the jab, right? It's another thing to actually teach them why your jab is so important. Why it's so important for you to throw your hooks on a 90-degree angle, whether you go into the body or you go into the head.
It's a science.
It's a science. It's a reason why you do that, okay? It's a reason why the body has to move simultaneously. And I explain all that in my books and stuff like that. And I want people to get a full understanding of why it's so important. It's not just going in there and just throwing punches.
Right.
It's not just doing it.
Exactly. And see, if you hear that, if you're elsewhere, if you're not here in Northern California, Solano County, get those ebooks. They're on Amazon. The Art of the Jab and Boxing Defense. By yours truly, Coach Prince here. But like I said, and I can't stress out enough, it's about almost 45-minute mark, but can't stress it enough. If you are here in Vacaville, Boxing Profiles at the Georgie Duke Center, Coach Prince, Coach Matt, Coach Jason, they will get you right. Because that's the thing with me, being a complete novice, I'm having the time of my life over here, and I'm learning quality stuff that I can actually use even if I don't become, even if I don't spar, even if I'm not an amateur, or definitely not a pro, but I mean, stuff you can use in life, period.
Even in self-defense,
Right.
you can use this in self-defense. And the one of the things that I'm gonna drop this. One of the things that I teach is I teach people how to see with their
Like
eyes.
you said, we're just talking about the eyes.
The eyes. I teach people how to see with their eyes. And people say, I already see with my eyes. If you say something like that, you don't get what I'm saying, okay? When in combat, okay? When in combat, there are certain times you need to be able to attack. And you have to be able to see those moments before you could attack.
Instinct, right?
Okay?
Yeah.
You got to be able to see it.
Like you said,
In order,
about that third
exactly.
eye.
You got to be able to see it,
gotta
and
see
most
it.
people don't see it because they don't have that full understanding of boxing. All the guys that are watching this and they know what I'm talking about. Okay, you got to be able to see it. Okay, all right.
Right. No, it is.
When that person is throwing that jab, is he throwing the jab the right way?
Right.
Is he pulling
Where's
that
the
jab?
holes?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Is he pulling that jab back to where it is supposed to be?
Is his hand dropping?
Is his hand dropping?
Right.
I mean, things like that. Now, it happens so briefly, most people don't see it, and the reason why they don't see it because they're used to seeing things, and it's not. It may not be done the correct way. It may not be done properly. Right.
Right.
So when they see a great knockout, that great knockout came from great technique, okay? Case in point, a great fighter right now, Abdullah Mason.
That's what I was gonna say. That's who I was trying.
Abdullah Mason.
That's who I was trying to talk to, even before we were on camera. That's what I was saying.
Abdullah Mason.
That's that guy.
Okay.
He has an undefeated
Great.
amateur record,
Yeah.
and he's just smooth and
Yeah, yeah. And
that
this dude, okay, he's a great pro. But he displays great technique, better than a lot of fighters that I've seen right now, and that means he's going to go far. He's very, very dangerous, Abdullah Mason. I mean, right now, as you know, I can't say that. Well, he's almost a contender, but I could say, as he continues, he's going to be hard to beat. As he continues and he's getting that experience under his belt, he's going to be very, very hard to beat. I'm telling you that right now. Very, very hard to beat. Because
he those words.
Okay?
He those words.
Very, very hard to beat. I don't care who you are. You're gonna
He's gonna give you problems.
Standing in front of him is already a problem. You better be
better
correct.
move, right?
You better be correct.
Better be
your
moving that
game,
head,
your
you
game
better
better
move
be.
that body, right?
You cannot make any mistakes with him. I'm telling you right now. You cannot make any mistakes with Abdullah Mason because if you make a mistake, it's over. Okay, and I'm saying that for a reason because I see a lot when this guy is fighting. Okay, you make a mistake, that's it. The fight's over. I'm telling you right now because he has that ability. What I'm talking about, being able to see. Okay, all right. And the one thing I like about these guys is I like about Abdullah Mason is he can talk. You got to be able to communicate to the fans.
Right.
Okay? If you can't communicate with the fans or you don't care about what the fans are saying,
They won't care about you.
they ain't gonna care about you, and they're not gonna come see you fight. You know?
Why would they?
Yeah.
'Cause you don't care about them.
Exactly. And you know, there's people that say things.
Hey,
like,
Bobby,
what's
how
up,
you
Bobby?
doing?
What's up, brother? There's people that say things like that. They go, man, I don't care about what the fans say. You should care about what the fans say because that's who's paying you. That's who's paying you.
That's who's watching you.
They're
That's who's
watching
paying
you.
you. They're
Yeah,
cheering you.
come on,
They're
man.
having emotional investment
Exactly.
in what you're doing.
Come on. You got to sell yourself. Okay, you got to sell yourself. Perfect example. One of the guys I like, Emiliano Vargas, and the whole Vargas clan. I like the whole Vargas clan. Period. I just love the whole Vargas clan, and because he can talk, he knows how to talk. He can box. He can basically do it all. Okay, father's a former world champion, right? And he could do it all. And I mean, I just love what they do. You know what I mean? And that's what we need in boxing. We need people like that. Now, he could be the new, okay, I ain't going to say Golden Boy because that's De La Hoya. But he could be the new face of boxing at one point, okay?
Right.
He could be.
Could be.
You know what I mean? Now, right now, he's not, but he's on his way up. You know what I mean? I like to see him get into stiffer competition. And what I mean by that, I want to see him fight other big name prospects.
Right.
Is what I like to see starting to go on. This is how you establish yourself as a great fighter when you coming up. You fight those other guys and knock those other guys off.
Right.
That's how you establish yourself as a great fighter. So when you
like you said, it's also that experience.
Exactly.
factor.
It's that experience factor. That's how you establish yourself. If you want to be something in this game and you want to really stand out, you start knocking off all these other guys that are prospects. Start knocking them off. Start beating those guys and see how fast you grow as a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And somebody that is in the weight class that is a hot prospect is got to step up and got to do this. The moment they start knocking off these other fighters, watch how fast they soar to the top. Watch how fast they get a title shot.
Right.
I mean, that's the game of boxing. That's old school way. But
That's what should be brought back to, right?
well, we hope to get back to that, but most people don't want to lose their You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know.
It's crazy.
So, man.
But like I said, I love this sport. Give my whole heart and soul into it.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
Like you said, amazing backstory. Like you said, with your background, not only as a kickboxer,
and there's
background
more.
with Jeet Kune Do.
There's more, but I'm just not gonna go into it. I'll give them a little bit at a time.
Yeah, a little bit at a time. Other than that, like I said, so we're at the 50-minute mark. One thing that we want to touch base on, even if briefly, we want to give too much because, like he was saying, seeing with your eyes, right? But we're gonna be doing spotlights on fighters, up-and-coming fighters here at the Duke. We were just talking about the boxing team here. These young stallions that are coming here. You know, like you said, emotional investment. Some of them don't really want to be on TV, but at the same time, you got to give them their stories. Like Coach Prince's story. I love hearing his backstory.
You know,
all these people have stories. All these kids have stories.
And you know, with the fighters that we're going to be introducing, and I want to introduce them right on Boxing Profiles, you know, Facebook, Instagram. And the reason why I want to introduce them is because I want people to see. I want them to see. I want them to see the fighters. I want them to get familiar with their faces and things like that. Because you know, number one, a lot of people are not doing that. Okay, we need to do that. We need to get these fighters that are out there. We got to build our fighters. We got to build them. We got to market our fighters.
Right.
Okay.
People got to know.
The people got to know. That's it. Okay. People got to know. You got to know. I got to know. Okay. Whether I'm sick, whether I gotta take somebody to the hospital, whether I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta go shopping. No matter what it is, right? I gotta take care of that, and then I gotta go fight. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because on the marquee, it talks about boxing, right? It's gonna say boxing. And if it's saying boxing, and that's your job, the people gotta know. Everybody's got to know that you are going to be there to do your job. No matter what it is, you will be there to do your job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the key to this whole thing is you're there to do your job. No matter what. You got that emergency. You got this. You got that. You just can't back out of it.
Right.
Okay,
you
understand
can't.
what I'm saying?
Because like you said, you got to go there and you have to fight.
That's your job. That's your job. And that's the type of determination. That's the type of dedication and things that we
You got to have that tunnel vision when it comes to fighting in that sense. Because like you said, one lapse in judgment, one thinking about something else can get you maimed, get you hurt.
You know, and that's why I tell people that, you know, this game is it's about savagery.
Right.
Preparing.
Preparing. Yeah. I was gonna say. So it's about 53 minutes. So I see a long paragraph here. Let's see what Bobby says.
Bobby Sanchez, what's up, my brother?
Let's see. So Bobby says Fernando will keep them on the right path. It appears that they listen to their dad and know his mistakes, and mistakes likely won't make those same mistakes that Fernando made in his career. Like you said, learning from his family, learning from his dad.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, great point, Bobby. Great point. You know, again, like I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. The blueprints for all the styles of boxing has been laid out there. Okay, it has been laid out there, and people say, "Well, what do you mean?" What do I mean? Look at the old school fighters. Pay attention to the old school fighters. Pay attention to Dwight Kwawi. Okay? Pay attention to him. Pay attention to the Evander Holyfields. Oh, you understand what I mean?
Right.
Pay attention to Mark Breland. Oh, you understand what I'm saying? Pay attention to these fighters that's already been there and done it over and over again. Okay? Pay attention to Bernard Hopkins, the executioner. Okay? Pay attention to these guys. And the reason why you pay attention to all these old school fighters is because if you want to be great, the key is right there. You just gotta know how to apply it. You understand? And your coaches should be the ones that know how to apply the techniques.
Very important.
You know, I used to hear this all the time when Mayweather was fighting. Who could crack the code to beat Mayweather? Who could crack the code to beat Mayweather? There ain't no code there. There's no code. Mayweather is as good as he is because he trains all the time. When he even said it. Bottom line to it is when everybody else is sleeping, he's out there training. Okay? That's why he was so good. And he realized that at a younger age. He realized that if he want to be great, I got to do it longer and better than everybody else.
You got to outlast.
Exactly. Right? And guess what? You outlast them with what? Defense. Defense. When I came up, you had to know offense and defense. It wasn't one of those things that I'm only offense.
Right.
You got to know offense and defense. We had to know every punch. Okay? We know how to do every foot movement. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We had to do everything. Everything. Before the coach got you out there. You had to do everything. You had to know it. And you had to demonstrate it to your coach. Then your coach would say, you ready.
Yeah, right.
You understand what I'm saying? See, and that's the difference. You know, we don't live in those times anymore, but guess what? We got to get back to those times. You know? We'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
See what happens.
Bobby Sanchez says,
Mark Breland is a good coach.
Mark Breland is a great coach. He's a great coach. He's a great coach, man. You know, like I said, I don't want to be on here all night. You know, we talk. We going on to the.
Hey, he's going out. You know what though? Yeah, like I said, folks. Maybe I don't know about next week. Maybe we'll probably do another one next week.
We will be doing another one.
But like I said, bi-weekly, look out for some content because we were very lucky here at the Georgia Duke Center. We were backed by City of Vacaville.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, trying to put a spotlight not only on the gym, not only on, of course, the tips, because we're not trying to give too much. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, we you know what? You know, we a fight town.
Right.
Vacaville's
a fight town.
Vacaville's a fight town. We got, like I said, we got world champions that come out of Vacaville, California. We got Dennis the Menace Alexio when he's the kickboxing champion, undisputed. Period. Okay. He did it before anybody else did it. Okay, undisputed. Right. He was doing it. Right. And I'm just talking about his generation. I'm not talking before him.
Right.
I'm talking about his generation as far as when it came to kickboxing. He did it. He was the one that did it. We also had Georgie Duke, who is actually right here.
The Duke.
The Georgie Duke right here.
This facility is named after.
Yeah, he was a world champion right here. You know what I'm saying. We got Randy Brazard, who is a world champion. Also, he's a world kickboxing champion. Okay, he's from the area. He's in the Solano County area.
It's a fight.
So it's a fight
area.
Town. It's a fight town, and that's what we're trying to bring back. We're trying to get it right back. You know, it's a fight town because the people here loves to see. They love to see fights here. Okay, and that's what Fight Night at the Duke is all about.
Yep.
So one of the things that I'm going to say, and then we're going to get out of here, is I'm going to introduce you guys to the guys on the boxing team over a period of weeks. And, you know, we're going to do little clips of them and this and that, and you guys can see their faces and things like that. And they'll talk to the cameras and things like that.
Right, I'll be hosting, you know, trying to ask them questions in between. You know.
And why they're doing this and stuff like that. And, you know, so the people get the opportunity to get to know who they are. And what type of skills and the hard work that these guys are putting in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because everybody just sees the guy get in the ring and fights. Once in a while, you see a guy jump the rope. Once in a while, you see a guy out there running and this and that. But there's a lot more to it.
Right.
That people don't see.
There's a lot.
You know, yeah. So, you know, so there's certain things without giving away our secrets and things like that we could just kind of show them that, look, these are things that these fighters got to go through.
Right. You know, it's going to be good, like I said, engaging content, and hopefully will captivate you, you know. But with that said, Coach, you know, we'll go ahead and end it now. Appreciate you. Like Coach always says, keep punching, but don't get punch drunk. Remember that. Boxing Profiles TV on YouTube. Boxing Profiles on your TV. It's a game of survival, all right? Y'all remember that. Game of survival.
You got me on that.
Right.
He said, Boxing Profiles on your TV. There you go, brother. All right, y'all.
Hey, that's the song right there.
That's a dope song. In fact,